everybody, it's Sunday, which means it's time for NHL Games of the Week, where I look ahead to the upcoming week in the NHL and pick out which games I think are going to be the most exciting, best, most fun to watch, and have the biggest impact. At this point in the year, I am looking very closely at playoff races and basing this list a lot on playoff races, whether that's for teams trying to get into a fourth spot or hold a fourth spot, or whether that's teams fighting at the top of the division, trying to win the division versus finishing second or third. This list from now through the rest of the season is going to be very much based on playoff races and which games are the most important in that regard. So before we begin, I just ask that you subscribe and hit that thumbs up button if you haven't yet. It helps the channel an absolute ton and is greatly appreciated. But let's get right into it here. Games of the week this week. Today, the 18th, Sunday, there's only one standout game, I think, in my opinion, today, and it is the Washington Capitals against the Boston Bruins. Washington is in a dogfight at the top of the division, trying to win the East this season, while the Bruins have been playing very well since the trade deadline, are still fighting for that fourth spot to secure that last playoff spot in the East. They have the Rangers still right behind them. The Rangers have been playing well too. So this is a big game between teams that don't like each other, play really exciting hockey against each other. Very physical games, and you have a lot on the line with the 2 points as well. So that should be a great one. Moving on now to tomorrow, Monday the 19th. Some awesome games. We have Carolina and Tampa Bay in the Central. Those are two teams fighting for the top spot in the Central Division. I believe they're only separated by 2 points right now. It's something very, very close like that. So, massive game there between the Canes and the Lightning. We have the Minnesota Wild and the Arizona Coyotes. This is a huge one in the West, especially for Arizona. They're trying to pass and secure the fourth playoff spot over the St. Louis Blues. It's really a fight now for the last playoff spot in the West between St. Louis and Arizona. So every game that those teams play is going to be absolutely massive. And this one is no different, as Coyotes need every point they can get to get into the playoffs. Chicago and Nashville. This is a huge series. They play 3 times this week. It's absolutely massive. It literally could be for the fourth spot in the division and the last playoff spot in the Central. Currently, Nashville holds that spot, but Chicago is right behind them. Dallas has also pulled themselves back into it with a couple wins in a row as well. So a huge Central Division race going on right now for the fourth and final playoff spot. And Chicago and Nashville, 2 of the teams going for it, play 3 times this week. This series this week could potentially be what ends up earning one of these teams the fourth spot and the other team not making the playoffs. So they're going to be huge. Also, the Montreal Canadiens play the Edmonton Oilers on Monday. This is a huge one as the Oilers are, trying to fight for positioning up higher in the division, trying to chase down Toronto if they can, where Montreal is your fourth team trying to hold on to that fourth playoff spot, and they haven't been playing all that well recently, so they're really fighting to hold that playoff spot with the Calgary Flames coming from behind, trying to catch them. We'll talk more about that later in this video. Moving on now to Tuesday, the 20th, we have the New York Islanders and the New York Rangers. This is a massive one for both teams in the same way that the Bruins and Capitals matchup is. You have the Islanders fighting at the top of the division. They've lost a couple in a row now, and they are going to be looking to get back on track, trying to keep up with the Capitals and win that division. And then on the flip side, you have the Rangers, who are in 5th place right now, trying to take Boston's 4th playoff spot. That's going to be hard with the way that the Bruins have been playing recently. The Rangers need to get every point that they can to try and keep up. So it's a huge game for both of these teams for different reasons. The Rangers trying to get into the playoffs. The Islanders trying to win the division. Big game there. Oh, not to mention it's a huge rivalry game as well. Also on Tuesday, the Hurricanes and the Lightning play again. So everything that I talked about the first matchup applies to the second one. They are going for the division lead, and that's a massive matchup between two very, very good teams. Moving on now to Wednesday, the 21st, we have another matchup, the second of 3 this week between the Predators and the Blackhawks. Again, everything that I talked about, the first matchup applies to this one. It's just, these could be the games that decide who makes the playoffs and who doesn't in the Central. The Minnesota Wild and Arizona Coyotes play again on Wednesday, the 21st. And again, that's a huge one, particularly for Arizona, trying to get into the playoffs past St. Louis. It's a massive 2 points on the line there. And Montreal and Edmonton play again. Everything from the first matchup still applies. You've got the Canadiens trying to hold that 4th spot. This is a huge, huge week for Montreal, as they've got 4 massive games this week. And that second one against Edmonton is going to be big. Moving on now to Thursday, the 22nd, we have a matchup between Toronto and Winnipeg. These are two teams fighting at the top of the North Division, along with Edmonton up there, trying to sort out their seeding before the playoffs start. Winnipeg's one of those teams trying to catch Toronto. Toronto's trying to hold the top. This is a big game, as it usually is when those two teams meet up, and it should be a really, really good one. The Capitals and the Islanders play on Thursday, and this could be for first place in the division, depending on how the earlier part of the week goes. Isles and Caps are two teams up there at the top of the East, duking it out, and that is going to be a really fun game and a huge matchup. The Carolina Hurricanes play the Florida Panthers. So Carolina goes from playing Tampa Bay to then playing Florida. Massive, massive matchup there. Again, Florida is the other team in the top 3 fighting for the division lead in the Central. You really have like a triple threat match going on right now between Carolina, Tampa Bay, and Florida for the top of the division. So anytime any of those 3 teams meet up, it's a massive game, and it's going to be the rest of the season. And then we have on Thursday the Colorado Avalanche against St. Louis Blues. Maybe this is supposed to be the first game back for Colorado. Obviously, they've had some games postponed because of a COVID issue, and they are not currently playing right now. But if this game happens, it's an absolutely huge one. This is when they're supposed to be coming back. We'll see if that happens or not. But St. Louis, again, I've talked about Arizona in the race for 4th in the West. St. Louis is the other team involved in that, and they need every single point that they can get as well. And this is a massive game against the division leader in Colorado. Moving on now to Friday the 23rd. We have the final matchup of the week between the Predators and the Blackhawks. Again, everything that I said about the first two applies. This could be for a playoff spot. These are two teams going for that final spot in the Central, and this series could really affect the outcome depending on how it goes. And then we have the Montreal Canadiens against the Calgary Flames. This is the 4th and 5th team in the North. Montreal desperately trying to hold on to that spot. Calgary trying to come in and take it. This is a huge, huge matchup. And again, one of those matchups that could determine who gets into the playoffs and who doesn't, or at least have a significant effect on it. And finally, that brings us to Saturday the 24th, and we have all the matchups on Saturday. We've got Colorado and St. Louis going at it again. Again, massive, massive game there for the St. Louis Blues, who desperately need points and to keep Arizona behind them. We have Montreal and Calgary playing again. Everything that I said about the Friday matchup still applies on Saturday. Huge one there with a playoff spot on the line. Toronto and Winnipeg play again. That's, at the top of the division, trying to find who's going to finish first place this season. Huge, great matchup there. Again, same thing with Washington and the Islanders. We talked about them already. That could be, that's the fight for first place right now in the division. With Pittsburgh involved as well. But, Washington and New York are the teams up there right now, and these head-to-head matchups could determine who finishes first and who finishes second. And we also have the Hurricanes and Panthers playing again on Saturday. Huge, huge matchup in the Central between two teams that are in that triple threat fight for first. So really good week of action this week in the NHL. As you can see, some days, particularly Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, have some awesome matchups. We got some huge divisional battles going on, not only for first place in the division, but also for fourth place spots and who's going to get into the playoffs and who is not. So, another awesome week of NHL action coming our way. But with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon, merchandise store, donation link, channel memberships are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.